Cory Holcomb is the GOAT of comedy. The GOAT. Easily. Easily the GOAT. I'm sorry. Cory Holcomb is the GOAT of comedy. If you want to give me Richard Pryor, I feel you. I won't even argue you. Want to give me Cat Williams? Want to give me Bernie Mac? Want to give me George Carlin? I feel you. I feel you. Trust me. But in my opinion, Cory Holcomb is the greatest comedian ever. Easily. Now, his show, the 5150 show, life-changing. Life-changing show. He's not going to get the propers that he really should be getting because people look at, it's just some hood ninja stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's he play around too much. He talk about this. I'm telling you, the game, people talk about the RP space, right? The manosphere, all of that. All that. Spaces like Cory Holcomb's 5150 show. I told you this. 5150 show, straight up, no cap, saved my life. Meaning, like, I'm talking about there were certain things that has happened in my life. I just couldn't put two and two together. I was just like, what? I'm missing. It's like, okay. I know the game about politics. I'm talking about high school now. I'm like, I know the game about politics. I know about the religion. I know about blah, 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 blah. But I'm missing. Something's missing. Watching that show filled in a lot of blanks. I'll say this. Going into high school in 2012, if I had found that show, because the show started, if I'm not mistaken, the show aired in 2012. I'm not sure when in 2012, but if I went into high school with the 5150 show, hell, or even college, but I'll say especially high school, my life would have been a lot different. Like, I'm talking about a lot different. I'd have been moving a lot different. And it's not even about 304s. That's the thing. It's not even about the 304s. Trust me, especially in my case, there are moves that I have made. If I had watched that show, I'd have been like, okay, I'm going to do it like this. Let me cut this off. So I found the 5150 show in college. It's been gravy from there. But, man, the game. Now, with all that being said, the normies aren't ready. When Cory Holcomb, he'll have like his moments or he'll go viral. And the normies will just be like, he said, I'm like, look, man, you're not ready for Snack King, man. So he's gone viral. I'm not going to show the clip because I know Cory Holcomb, he doesn't like people really just showing his stuff and analyzing it. But if you saw the clip, he was talking about how his daughter was trying to leverage the fact that she was going to go to Tasha K to bring some information to her. And basically Cory Holcomb said that his daughter used that as a threat. And he was like, yo, look, look, man, your mama wasn't ish. So you just came out of nowhere. So I try to be there for you, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to wage war against me like that, the gloves are off. That's basically what he was saying. Now, the normies aren't ready for that because, like I said, like the culture that we have, back in the day, kids used to get banished from their families, right? Or, you like people used to be exiled back in the day from their families if certain things, if words were said, things went down. You know what I'm saying? They would get banned. They would be what's the word? It's not just exiled, but basically kicked out on the streets. So that's basically the era that he comes from. So he's not even afraid to even say something like that. Now, the normies apparently went crazy over that clip. I had no idea because I've been here, like I said, I've been watching the 5150 show since 2016 now. So the stuff that he says does not surprise me, and he means what he says. So with that being said, when he mentions that, and people are saying that he's a bad guy, no, he's not. No, he's not. There have been way too many men. I'm not even just because people are just saying black men. I'm saying men in general that have been tolerating BS for years. Now, a lot of dudes, they don't function like that. There's only so much disrespect that they can take. And it doesn't matter if it's even from their own sons, their own daughters. If you bring it to a place, they're like, oh, this is what we doing? And they'll be like, look, you can't be up under me or be around me and you making threats like this. I'm going to have to distance myself from you. You know what I'm saying? And F you and your mama or stuff like that. There are guys that operate like that, and they're not wrong for doing that. You can't have people that will leverage information against you and then just come around and act like nothing happened. Nothing didn't happen. It doesn't matter if it's from your own family. That's it's dishonorable. So you gotta set your boundaries there, off rip. You know what I'm saying? So that's what people don't understand. And the reason why I trust Cory Holcomb is because I trust 50 Cent. They both kind of have similar personalities. I have massive respect for 50 Cent. And I remember, I'm talking about even when I was blue pilled, when I was like in high school, when 50 Cent would talk about why he doesn't really talk with his first son anymore, I trusted 50 because I was just like, look, man, I know it's hard to trust these celebrities. Like I said, I don't trust entertainers at all. But if 50 Cent is nothing else, he is consistent with his actions. He's very consistent, and his story has stayed the same. It don't move around. He's always had that same mentality with everybody that's been with him. He's always had that same. So his consistency. This is why I'm a big fan of Star Terrain. His consistency. Same with Undead Chronic. Consistency. That's all I ask for people. So if something happens, I'm like, well, he usually do things like this. So I got to take what you're saying about this ninja with a grain of salt. So people at the time thought 50 Cent was harsh when he was talking about his son. And his story has always stayed consistent. He said something's wrong with his son because he's been listening to his mom. And his mom is putting things in his head. And you saw with the actions that his son would take, you could tell his mom was giving him, messing his head up with the advice, especially when he was younger. He was trying to start a shoe company or something, or just something with the shoes, and his mom sabotaged it and tried to make him, instead of a shoe place, make it into a salon or something. And 50 was like, whoa, what's going on here? And when you saw little actions like that, that's what led me to the fact that 50 Cent was onto something. And recently, I think last year, 50 Cent was vindicated when Marquise Jackson did that interview talking about what he said, 8,000 a month isn't enough, or something crazy like that of child support, and he's 25. I'm like, what is he talking about? And if you watch that full interview, because I watched it via Kwame Brown's channel, if you watch that full interview, the stuff that he was saying, I'm like, this guy sounds like a woman. He sounds like his mom. And I'm like, man, because I always say that, like, and Kwame Brown said it too. But look, one of the main reasons why I'm against child support and all this stuff, just watch that full interview when Marquise Jackson was talking about $8,000 a month isn't enough in New York or something like that. Just watch what the stuff that he was saying to that with that guy and how he sounded. I was like, how he sound? I don't know if that is, but the stuff that he was saying, I was like, oh my God, this guy. And now I didn't need all of that to prove that 50 Cent wasn't telling that I didn't need that to prove that Marquise Jackson was a BAN, as we call him, a 304 type ninja, if you know what I'm saying. He's a B word. I'll put it lightly like this. I didn't need all of that to prove, because, and not only that, because Marquise Jackson was literally taking pictures with 50 Cent's ops. I'm talking about people that wanted 50 Cent dead. And this is how I knew 50 Cent actually really loves his son, contrary to popular belief. And I'm gonna I'm kind of exposing the game, so hopefully this doesn't come back on 50. The reason why he's distancing himself and really putting that X mark on Marquise Jackson, he's actually saving him, because if his ops knew that they can get at 50 Cent's heart by going through his son, Marquise Jackson would be dead. This is why 50 Cent, this is low key 50 Cent he's not gonna admit it. He's not gonna admit it. Because down in his heart, he's a good dude. Trust me. He's saving Marquise by excommunicating him out. Because what Marquise doesn't understand is 50 Cent's ops are going to try to hurt 50 Cent by using him. Meaning, if they can hurt Marquise, they think that can hurt 50 Cent. So to save Marquise, he said, "Hey, I don't even fuck with that nigga." That's my theory on it. And I hope Marquise Jackson, he's not going to realize it until it's too late. And even then, I would say this, if I was like advised, well, 50 Cent doesn't need my advice, but I'm just saying, I already know 50 Cent's making sure that he's staying the hell away from his current son, the half breed that he has right now, but with the Asian girl. So I would make sure that first son stays away from his second son, like literally stays the hell away from him, because Marquise Jackson is a weirdo. And this is so when Cory Holcomb was talking about his daughter and how that ended up going awry. That's what I started thinking about, because at first, I remember when Cory Holcomb would talk about his daughter in the past, he would praise her, basically saying, thank God she's not like her mom. But something changed recently. Clearly something changed. And that's when Cory Holcomb came back and said, look, man, I thought everything was all good. But look, he said, I already told you, if your mama is shit, that means you ain't gonna be shit. That's how Cory Holcomb be. That's how Cory Holcomb be talking. But like, Cory Holcomb has said that plenty of times. And he said, you see, I knew you was gonna be shit. You acting just like your mom. So that's why I would say, when it comes to this case with Cory Holcomb's case, don't think he's cold-hearted about this. Don't think that. If I would say this, if Cory Holcomb's daughter is listening, don't do that. Don't go to Tasha. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, because now people are gonna make sure your picture is out there, and you don't want that. You don't want that. Like, that's something that I could tell Cory Holcomb, try to make sure your picture isn't out there and stuff like that. There's a method to the madness. There's a method to the madness. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Cory Holcomb said nothing wrong. And I'll say this, like, the men of the past are not the men right now. Men are not just going to tolerate disrespect from their kin anymore, basically. Or not. It's not necessarily their kin. They're just not going to tolerate the tomfoolery where the mom is putting stuff in the daughter's or the son's heads. And eventually it screws them up. Even if they were good people, it eventually screws them up, because they're still looking at their dad in a certain light, and it's going to manifest itself either at that point or in the future. And it looks like it with Cory Holcomb's daughter, it manifested later in the future. Unfortunately, to Cory. So I'll say this: I believe Cory, Cory Holcomb. I support you 100%. 5150 show saved my life. You know what I'm saying? Really put me onto game. Really, actually made me do some self-reflection on myself, and I realized that I'm not a good person, really. So, and I have to change those things about myself before I can do anything else. So that's all I have to say about that situation. I'm not going to play the clip. You guys got to watch the show. We already know Cory Holcomb doesn't like people playing his clips, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and we're out.